Right, this is our last unit of this year, which is good. We're getting to our end of the school year. This is the last unit. Now we're gonna start with what we'll call linear regression. And this is basically we're looking at lines here. We're gonna look at important things of lines. Part of it, the beginning of this unit, it's gonna feel like algebra. Remember when you guys had algebra? Let's take a look at my first question from today. The equation of a straight line is determined as y equals beta of 0 plus beta 1 of x. Now that thing that looks like a b, it's a Greek letter that we call beta. It's just a number. I remember back in your algebra class, you guys used to see that as y equals b plus mx. I know some of you guys saw it as y equals mx plus b. Remember that? That rings a bell. Y equals mx plus b. But I can move this, right? By associate, I can move that. You guys learned the associative rule. I can write that as y equals b plus mx. That makes a little more sense when you graph. Because I remember back in algebra, they told me b is the point where I begin, and m is the slope, but it was as a fraction. He told me how to move. Remember that from algebra 1 or algebra 2 as well. Now, here we're going to call it beta of 0 and beta of 1. Basically just numbers. Beta of 0 I expected as a number, and beta of 1 I expected as a number. I know back in algebra, your numbers sometimes came out as a whole numbered. You guys were afraid of fractions, but we're in stats. So let's not be afraid of fractions. Some of my answers are going to come out as fractions. Now here, we're going to say if the line passes through the points -7 and 2, then that means that x equals -7, y is equal to +2, then you must satisfy the equation that is 2 is equal to beta 0 plus beta 1 times -7. Notice how I'm using this equation. Y is equal to beta 0 plus beta 1 times x. However, I gave you 1 point, -7, 2. That basically means that x equals -7, y is equal to 2, and I replaced the values that I knew. So let me write that. Let me go with blue here. So I know that 2 is equal to beta 0 plus beta 1 times a -7. That's from the first point. But now, similarly, if the line passes through the point 12, 8, so passes through another point, that means x equals 12. So let me highlight this right here. It goes through a different point. That means x equals 12, y is +8. Then I must satisfy the equation 8 is equal to beta 0 plus beta 1 times 12. So notice I'm using the same equation from the beginning. It's just that I replace my values of x and y. So let me rewrite that. Let me write that equation here. I have 8 is equal to beta 0 plus beta 1 times 12. Now use these two equations to solve for beta 0 and beta 1. Then find the equation of the line that passes through the points -7, 2, and 12, 8. Okay, we're going to do this statistics way. I remember back in algebra, you guys learned system of equations, right? When you guys had 2 equations and 2 unknowns. So look, I have 2 equations and I have 2 values that I don't know, beta 0 and beta 1. I remember you learned how to solve by graphing. Some of you guys did not like that one. Then you guys learn how to solve by substitution. I hope that rings a bell. Some of you guys kind of liked it. And then you guys also learn how to solve by elimination. Okay, we're going to use elimination. For elimination, to begin with, let me multiply it. Let me get rid of parentheses here. So I have that 2 is equal to beta 0 minus 7 beta 1, right? And then I have that 8 is equal to beta 0 plus 12. Oops, it's a 12, not a 13. Plus 12 times beta 1. Right? I just got rid of parentheses. And in elimination, I remembered if I was to combine my two equations, one of my variables, either beta 0 or beta 1, should cancel out if I was to combine them. When I look at my beta zeros, 1 beta 0 plus 1 beta 0 is 2 beta 0. Doesn't cancel out. When I look at my beta 1s, negative 7 plus 12 is not 0. They don't cancel out. Okay. Then I remember back in elimination, when you guys were in algebra, we said if they don't cancel out, you can multiply one of your equations. You can multiply everything by the same number. So I'm going to think of a number that I'm going to multiply everything by. But when I look at my betas, my beta 0 is easy to cancel out. I can cancel them out if one of them is positive 1 and the other one is negative 1. So I'm going to multiply it. In this case, let me multiply everything here by negative 1. So my first equation, I have 2 is equal to beta 0 minus 7 times beta 1. Right? Nothing on the first equation. The second equation, let me multiply everything by negative 1. So that gives me negative 8 is equal to negative beta 0 minus 12. Oops, why am I writing 13 again? Minus 12 times beta 1. Again, I multiplied everything on the second one by a negative 1. So I switched the signs because my beta 0 cancels out, right? Beta 0 minus beta 0, when I combine them, is 0. So it cancels out. And then I have here a positive 2 and a negative 8. They combine to negative 6. Negative 7 and a negative 12, they combine to a negative 19 beta 1. Okay, so I have the negative 6 is equal to negative 19 times beta 1. So how can I solve for beta 1? Well, let me divide both sides by a negative 19. Remember I said don't be afraid of fractions. So let's see here. Signs, negative divided by negative, it's positive. 6 over 19. Think about simplifying. Can I simplify my fractions? Is there a number that goes into 6 and it also goes into 19? No. Okay, so I cannot simplify, but do simplify if possible. So I'm going to say 6 over 19 is equal to beta 1. Positive, right? Because negative divided by negative is positive. Good. So I solve for beta 1. Now, solve for beta 0. Use any equation that you want to solve for beta 0. So in my case, let's see. Which one can I use? Which one can I use? Don't want to deal with negatives if possible. So I'm going to choose this one. It doesn't matter which one you choose. So I'm going to use that. And I'm going to rewrite that as 8 is equal to beta 0, because I don't know what beta 0 is, plus 6 over 19 times 12. I know beta 1, right? So I have that 8 is equal to beta 0 plus, remember how to multiply fractions? When there's a fraction and a whole number, we make this a fraction as well. We multiply the top numbers. 6 times 12, that's 72. Over, we multiply the bottom numbers. 19 times 1, that's 19. I see I'm dealing with fractions. So this whole number, 8, let's switch it to a fraction. I want the bottom to be 19 because I want common denominators. Now the top number, remember how it was an 8 to begin with? So what's 19 times 8? 152, okay? Now just before we continue, do me a favor, grab a calculator. Is 152 divided by 19 equals to 8? Yes, okay. So notice how we changed a whole number into a fraction. We just wanted common denominators. Okay. So this fraction, let me move it here. Don't forget to switch the sign as a negative 72 over 19. What's 152 over 19 minus 72 over 19? For space purposes, let me move this here. I have 152 over 19 is equal to beta 0, but here I have minus 72 over 19 as well. Okay, so common again. So looking at this fraction, I have a 19 at the bottom, right? I want common denominators. What's 152 minus 72? 80. Okay. Can you simplify this fraction? Not this case. Some cases you will be able to. Like I said, make sure you simplify if possible. This case we cannot. So 80 over 19 is my beta 0. Okay, let me zoom out here. Let me circle two values that I know. My question here is, what's beta 1? Beta 1 is 6 backslash 19. This is how I'm going to type in fractions. Like I said, your betas are going to be fractions. We're in stats, so let's not be afraid of fractions. What's beta 0? It's 80 over 19. Like I said, make sure your fractions are simplified. So simplify your answers. Now find the equation of the line that passes through negative 7, 2 and 12, 8. Remember how at the beginning I mentioned something like y is equal to beta 0 plus beta 1 times x. Remember that's on the top of your notes. You know the values of beta 0 and the values of beta 1. So my equation is going to be y equals 80 over 19 plus 6 over 19x. Now, how do we put this? X times 6 over 19 or 6 over 19 times x? Doesn't matter. But here, now in your homework, when it comes to this, I'm just going to leave the spaces for the fractions. I'm going to have everything else written there. You're going to see y equals, and in a space, which you're supposed to type in 80 over 19 plus, in a space, which you're supposed to write 6 over 19 times x. I might even put this in parentheses so we don't get it confused with the x. So that was it. That was that. Not too hard. Let's take a look at question number 2. Find the equation of the line that passes through the pairs of points listed below. So the points are 0, 10, and 10, 0. I remembered, I'm going to do this the statistics way. I remembered I said the equations are going to be, let me use a pen, not a highlighter. My equations are going to be, I'm going to use the formula y equals beta 0 plus beta 1 times x. So looking at my first point, x equals 0, y equals 10. So I'm going to rewrite that equation. I'm going to replace my values of y and x. So let me write that as 10 is equal to beta 0 plus beta 1 times 0. Looking at my second equation, my x is 10, my y is 0. So let me replace my values that I know. So I'm going to write 0 is equal to beta 0 plus beta 1 times 10. Let me simplify my two equations here, right? I have 10 is equal to beta 0 plus nothing, because anything times 0 is 0, okay? Then here I have 0 is equal to beta 0 plus 10 beta 1. I'm thinking you guys can already see something, but what if we did not? Okay. I remembered I want to combine my like terms, my beta 0s, my beta 1. So as a matter of fact, let me do write beta 1 here if necessary. I want to combine my like terms and I want one of them to cancel out. However, they don't cancel out. So let me multiply everything on one of my equations. Let me multiply everything by -1. So let me transfer this to, let me leave the top as 10 is equal to beta 0 plus 0 beta 1. On the bottom, on the second one, let me multiply everything by a -1. So that's going to give me -0. Same thing as 0, but I'm going to write it as -0 is equal to negative beta 0 minus 10 beta 1. Because I know these cancel out. So then I have that 10 is equal to -10 beta 1. Let me divide both sides by -10. So I have the -1 is equal to beta 1. Let me circle it because I'm going to use that later. So solve for beta 0. Where can I use this? I'm going to use, let me use this value here, this equation. Doesn't matter which one you use. So I have that 0 is equal to beta 0 plus a -1 times 10. So I have that 0 is equal to beta 0 minus 10. This -10, let me move it to this other side as a +10. So I have that 10 is equal to beta 0. Let me circle that because I'm going to need that. Funny thing is, let me come back a few steps here. Couldn't you have seen that beta 0 was 10 sometime back? Okay, good. So I have my two values. It doesn't matter if you saw it at the beginning or you saw it at the end. I have my two values. But remember how my equation, let me rewrite this here again. It's going to be y is equal to beta 0 plus beta 1 times x. I know my values of beta 0 and beta 1. So let me write this as y equals beta 0, we said is 10, plus a -1 times x. That mathematically speaking, that is correct. If you guys write y equals 10 minus x, because the negative 1 times x gives me that. Let me circle this as two possible solutions. It's fine. That was not bad. Okay.